Welcome to Creating Success in the Mess, where we talk about just that, creating success in the mess of this thing we call life.
We're your hosts, Corey and Whitney, a husband and wife team that does life and business together.
In this podcast, we share our struggles and funny moments as we have journeyed growing our family, our faith, and businesses.
We share inspiration, motivation, and practical tips and tricks to help you build yourself and a life you love.
We invite you to join us every week on the podcast, and we can't wait to create success in the mess together.
Hey there, friends, and welcome to this week's episode of the podcast. Today, we're going to discuss whether you should do what your idols are doing or if you should just do you.
Yeah, so I would say not even just your idols. I would say we could definitely talk about your competition, who may not be your idols. They may be your irritants, right? So I was scrolling through, I think it was Instagram, and I saw one of those little posts, like an inspirational meme thing. And it was talking about how it doesn't matter what others are doing, it matters what you are doing. And it made me remember when I was running our brick and mortar art studio, like, I don't know how many years ago now. It seems like forever, but it wasn't that long ago. We had a lot of competition. Like, we were a canvas painting art studio, and we taught people, how to paint on canvas. But we also had, there was others in our area.
You had a competitor literally three doors down.
Yeah, that did not necessarily canvas, just like a different form of art. But then, like, right up the road, there was one that opened that was doing what both of us were doing. And then, you had the big franchise that you had to compete with, and they had multiple locations. And so I remember at one point in time, I was like, oh my gosh, everybody around is doing the same thing. And so I would spend my time sitting around looking at their social medias and, keeping track of their website if they had one, of what they were offering, like what they were doing. How many people did they have show up? How many people did they have in there? And I was finding that I was spending all of my time basically being a private investigator of my competitors.
Yeah, we would literally terrible business practice, but walk out the door and just walk down, act like we're going to go to Starbucks down the street just so we could see how many people they had in there.
Right, or get on social media and look at the count with my finger how many people they had in their art class that night.
Yeah. And
then I was judging our success based on what they were doing.
Right.
Which is awful. They could have had 5 people in their class and I had 6, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm doing so great. When in reality, maybe the 6 wasn't even making me a profit, you know? It did, but if I was so caught up in looking at that's where my mind was automatically creating the standards, right?
Yeah.
Of if I was getting an A, B, C, or D.
Mm-hmm.
And I got so caught up in that, and it would get me so irritated and so distraught. And I was like, I know one time at Christmas, the holiday season, then I was, they were offering something that was, kind of a viral hit. And I was so irritated and frustrated because I should have done that. I should have thought of that. I could have done that,
yeah,
type of thing.
Or the opposite, you get jealous. Because
yeah.
you're like, oh gosh, why can't we have a full class?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
And so I was spending my time focusing on all that, on what they were doing or what their success was, and then judging mine based off of that. And when that was happening, one, I didn't feel very good. I didn't feel very encouraged or motivated or positive or,
Oh, it's a totally negative.
We would spend our nights talking about it, and we would get so irritated, and, it was just not fun. And I found that our classes and our events were getting smaller and smaller. And then finally, one of, my business coaches was like, girl, who cares what they're doing? who cares what they're doing? And I was really offended because every time I would do something new or every time I would do something, a version of it would pop up on theirs after mine. And so she was like, who cares what they're doing? Who cares if they're copying you? Stop looking. Stop looking at if they're copying you, because in all honesty, that's how it started.
Yeah.
Every time we would, I would come up with this creative thing and we would do it, and then it was like clockwork. I mean, you could just see it pop up on, what everyone else was doing. And then that's how I got into this bad habit of, analyzing all my competitors.
Right.
And she was like, who cares what they're doing? Who cares if they're copying you? If they're copying you, take it as a form of
it's a compliment.
Yeah. Because they see you as a success standard and they're trying to match up, which means that they're trying to live up. They're trying to catch up, which means they are behind. Stop turning around and looking.
I think some people can be very creative, but not necessarily know how to market out what they're wanting to have. And then I think some people are the opposite. They lack creativity of coming up with something that's very unique and nostalgic, but their marketing ability or their ability to speak what it is and get people to sign up is maybe a little bit better.
Right. Yep. Yeah. So in this period of time, I found myself getting irritated that they were copying me and fixating on what they were doing and then judging my success based off of their standard. And when I did that, the success of my business started slowing. Our class numbers started slowing and everything kind of started, you could see a trend. And so she was like, girl, stop worrying about what they're doing or if they're copying you or not. You just focus forward. Yeah. You focus forward. And I was like, okay, I'm going to focus forward. And so then social media can be a toxic place. And if there's this thing called algorithm, and if you're looking at something, social media is going to keep giving it to you. So it took me quite a while to get that off of my feed. And it would be I not pick up this phone because I know if I pick up this phone, what's going to be on there. And then I'm going to go down that rabbit hole. And so it took a while to get that off there and really retrain my brain. I don't need to know. I'm not going to look. This is not for me to know. I'm not going to do this. And then I just focused forward. So I focused more on what was I doing? And what I was doing was nothing. I was doing nothing except sitting around entertaining myself with their feet, which was the direct correlation of the success of my business.
Right. And so you're spending time, right? Which time is money.
Right.
You're spending time going through, scrolling through, seeing, trying to count the people. Trying to see these people are going to put me out of business because they're taking my ideas and they're promoting them better. Right. Whatever. And then that just makes you feel all sorts of ways as well. And when you're doing all that, then you're not putting any work in to your business. No. So you got one foot in your business and one foot in worrying about what the heck your competitor is doing. Exactly. And you're over here straddled.
Right. I'm only half in my business because I'm half consumed with negativity and nonsense that really doesn't concern me and isn't going to positively affect the growth of my business. Mm-hmm. And then I have my other half of my foot in, and I mean, I don't know about you, but have you ever eaten a dinner that's half cooked? It's kind of gross. If you go into cooking a dinner with half of the ingredients or half of the time or half of whatever it is, it doesn't turn out very good. And so that's the exact same thing with your business. If you are only half in your business, mentally, physically, emotionally, if you're only invested halfway in it, then the success is going to show. Your business is going to be affected by that.
So really, you're internalizing, in a way, it's kind of you think they're putting you out of business, mm-hmm. but realistically, you're just not fully cooking what the people are wanting. Yes. And that's what's causing your class sizes to start going down.
So when she was like, what does it matter? Stop looking behind you. Stop looking around. Focus forward. Focus forward. And I was like, oh, Yeah, I'm not focused forward. I'm too busy looking around like someone's coming to get me and like taking account of what all's going on in the room that I'm not actually standing up and going forward like I did that got us to where we were and who we were. And so it was all kind of, crumbling apart. Like the dinner was like getting half baked and it was showing in everything that we did. And especially emotionally, I was definitely half in because I was starting to struggle with like questioning myself and doubt and the burnout of like, I mean, I don't know if you've ever been in this situation, but it is exhausting to try to keep up with a competitor and be the same as a competitor. I cannot imagine like trying to operate Walmart. Like, I am not Walmart. I cannot be Walmart. And so if I am always fixating on Walmart's price or Walmart's deal or Walmart's offering or Walmart this, that, or the other, then I'm just trying to clone Walmart.
Yeah.
That we don't need a clone. Like, you have your...
We already got one.
Right.
We don't need two of them.
Yeah. You're in business because you had something unique. Whatever it was. Maybe it's your service. Maybe it's your product. Maybe it's your approach. Maybe it's... whatever it is, you're in business because of that unique thing. And when we sit around and we start, looking at what everyone else is doing or how they're doing it or what they're doing and we're comparing ourselves to them, we're essentially putting in our mind that we are trying to clone ourselves to be them. And it doesn't work.
Right.
What matters is, what are we doing?
I think that's kind of the problem is when you're trying to clone and you're trying to be just like someone else, you're not going to be authentic to yourself.
Right.
Because I know in a lot of ways you can do this in reverse. Like you can find people that are further down the road from you that have the experience and have like things going on, and you can see what they're doing to get success, and you can repeat some of those things. But if you don't repeat it within your own authenticity,
right, then
it's never going to come across to clients or customers or to anyone as like a good thing. It's just going to kind of come across as like a washed out version, aka cloned.
Right. Yes, or half invested.
Yeah.
You only have one foot in the door because your other foot is on the way out, like doing something else. And at that point, like you can only expect half success in whatever it is. And so one of the things that I found really helpful, because I know when you're in business, you kind of want to see what everyone in the industry is doing. Or, you don't want to be left behind, or you don't want to miss out, or you don't want to be, whatever.
Yeah, you want to be knowledgeable of what everyone's kind of doing, but not for competitive reasons.
Right. So one of the best tips that I can give that I found was to, one, check how much time you're looking around in your niche. One of our businesses is furniture refinishing, like furniture painting. And you cannot sit and hang around a whole bunch of furniture painters and look at everything that they're doing and every color that they're using and every way that they're doing their process. You can't invest all of your time into doing that. You have to take a brief, quick look at whatever's going on, and then you go and you do you. Because when you're in the groups or when you're in, fully like submersing yourself in this industry, then you are becoming more concerned with what they're doing and you're not actually doing anything. So the best thing that you can do is, one, know that you kind of need to take a general look around every now and then. And I mean every now and then in your industry of what's going on. But two, if you can look and follow a different industry, so let's say that you are a painter, and if you can find a health coach or a totally different industry, like if you paint, look at like somebody that sells makeup. like a beauty consultant or something. Get out of your industry and look at what they're doing. So what are their tactics? What is it that they're doing, and how are they promoting their thing? Because you won't get caught up in that competitive half in, half out mindset, because you won't feel that threat there. And so if you can take time, spend most of your time looking at other industries that are not yours, and then extract their strategies and implement into
I think it
yours.
gives you a different lens too.
Right.
So you kind of get the point of view of like someone who's not necessarily like how you are.
Mm-hmm.
And it can kind of begin to, you start asking those questions. How can I use this to benefit me and my industry?
Right.
And it starts to open up your creativity level. And with that, you're going to start like creating new ideas and new ways of kind of presenting things. That's going to be different than everyone else who's in your industry trying to copy each other,
Right.
which is just going to help you stand out.
Exactly.
And you're going to feel good about doing it because you're going to feel like it comes from a place within yourself that is showcasing who you are and what you choose.
Right.
Rather than having to do what everyone else is doing, you get to choose.
Right. So there can be a million of us that are in the same industry, but the amazing thing is we all are unique. We all have our own unique take and our own unique story. And so in business, when you can learn to harness your uniqueness and your true whatever gift like that makes you a little different, that's when you find the success.
I think it's where a lot of people go wrong, is they think that if they allow themselves to be themselves, then they feel like people may not like that. They want people, I think we get the sense that like maybe there's like a status quo or like a mainstream way that everyone likes. Mm-hmm. And so if we don't do that, then we won't get the recognition that we should. And you know, I think it also too is like when you choose uniqueness, at the same time it's also a risk level, because in a way it's kind of like, well, I want to do it. I want to do it my way, but then at the same time we begin to question ourselves with fear that, well, if I do it this way, no one's ever seen this before.
Right.
So what if no one likes it? And if no one likes it, then no one will like me. And then my talent and my uniqueness is not worthy. And when we start going that trap, that's a lot of more like negative mindset versus, hey, regardless of the situation, regardless of the people, actually forget the people. Just forget it. And just do your thing.
Right.
And as long as you're happy that you did it your way, then that's all that matters.
Right.
And you just allow the forces of nature to just make the connection so that you go from your uniqueness to your income.
Right. And really, you owning your uniqueness and you being confident and okay and secure with your uniqueness. We say uniqueness, but whatever, you're different, your product, your service, whatever it is that you're doing in your way, with you being confident in that and enjoying that, others are going to feel that and sense that, and they're going to want that. And that's actually what sells. It's you enjoying and giving that feeling that they want. So we could all have the same candle sitting on the shelf, and somebody could sell a candle so much faster than someone else, because really what's going to sell that candle is you owning your enjoyment, your satisfaction, your take, your opinion, like whatever, and conveying that to somebody, and then them wanting what you have.
Right.
And so that is a whole shebang of business, is people wanting whatever it is that you have or that you made or that you can do. And so you can't do that, and you aren't going to do that if you are fixated on and consumed with what everyone else is doing. You have to fixate and consume on you. Right. What are you doing? What difference are you making? What do you have to give? How are you enjoying it?
Yeah. And it's a lot less fun if you're just offering something that everyone else is already offering. Right. So if it's a product and you're just selling the same thing that people can get from anywhere.
Right.
there's no fun in that.
No.
And if it's a service that you provide and it's just going to be a copycat, or you're stuck on competitiveness of someone who does a very similar or the exact same thing that you do, then your attitude and your vibe is going to be that.
Right.
But when you can find a place of comfort and confidence within yourself, and that you do things the way you truly feel you were born to do them, yeah, the lid's off.
Right.
And you can go to great places.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you find yourself worrying and thinking about and wondering and researching what everyone else is doing and how everyone else is doing it and what everyone else's success is, stop doing that right now, today. Make it a goal that you're not going to look them up. You're not going to, if it comes up, you are not going to click. You're going to scroll by. You are going to put your mindset and your focus on what you are doing, what you can do, and how you can do it, rather than anyone else. Because it doesn't matter what others are doing. It matters what you are doing. That is going to be the key to your business success, is what you are doing. Thank you so much for listening. We know that we all get busy trying to do life, and our hope is that we can find ways to implement time and space to create a life we love living every day on our terms, right in the middle of all the messes of life.
We hope that you've been inspired and our conversation has helped you in some way, and it would be so amazing if you shared this conversation with somebody that you think would really benefit from hearing it. You can text someone the link, or you can share it via email or on your social media pages. And please, we would love for you to leave us a review on whatever platform you are listening on, because it helps us so much. The more reviews we have, the more people that will find our show, and our ultimate goal is for everyone to feel inspired, to find ways to create their own success right in the middle of all the mess. And no, they are not alone in doing so.
And finally, we'd love for you to join our weekly email list so that we can connect on a deeper level, and you can always be in the know of our new release events and opportunities.